Hey guys, what's going on? Darren here, and welcome back to the F1 22 My Team Career Mode. This time, we're at Montreal for the Canadian Grand Prix. If you haven't seen the last round, we were at Baku for the Azerbaijan Grand Prix, and it was one hell of a race. There was a lot of incidents, a lot of crashes, and so if you haven't checked it out, go back, go check it out, enjoy the carnage, because it was just pure carnage. This time, we're on the way to the Montreal Grand Prix, but before the race starts, we're just taking a quick look at the progress indicator from the previous round, and you can see McLaren, they made a huge jump in performance, whilst we, in Pulse Motorsport, are still currently the slowest car in the field. So, we're hoping to make some progress up that field very soon, so that we have got a fast car, but before the weekend begins, we had another Pirelli Hot Laps challenge. And once again, I did the Rival challenge because it's the easiest one to do. We skipped it straight to round 3 because, well, I'd already passed round 1 and 2 with a lot of ease. So I thought, well, I may as well just do round 3 and go straight to that one because it's the most interesting one, because it's the one where you actually start behind your rival, Patrick Tremblay. And, well, we blasted past him very quickly. Okay, we just missed that chicane ever so slightly there, but yeah, these ones are really easy. The Rival Duel is by far the easiest challenge that you can do. So we're just going into the hairpin then for the last time in the Aston Martin Vantage. You see we lock up pretty bad. We missed the apex by quite some margin. Is Tremblay going to get us on the exit? No, he's not. He's actually a long way behind. With the arrows, I thought he was a lot closer than he was, but it turns out he's a long way behind. So we're just going to do a handbrake turn to spin to win the Rival Duel. So yeah, that's an easy gold, an easy $100,000, and an easy 1,000 acclaim for the team. And that acclaim for the team is very important, because what that team acclaim has just done, it's actually just pushed us from level 9 to level 10. So that means that we can now get another sponsor on our car. As you can see, we're just taking a quick look at all the sponsors that we have got available, whether it's Shark, XER, Blue Star, AF, Achieve, I think that says Uterp, Lupo, PSD, Equinox, I'm not even going to try and pronounce half of these because I can't. But we are going to go with Distort. Distort's actually one of the classic ones, I think, for F1, because it's been one of the main sponsors, I think, since the My Team series begun, has Distort. So, to be honest, it will feel rude to go with anything other than Distort. So, Distort is going to be our next sponsor. The goal is to finish all the practice program sessions, so that should be quite easy to get. So, yep, we're going to go for that, and then you can see it's just putting it on the car now. We're sticking it on the nose cone, we're going to stick it on the halo, and on the engine cover. And so, yeah, we've got Distort, welcome to the team, and now it's time for qualifying. So here we are, we're in qualifying then, and this is the end of our second run in Q1. You can see our first run, it's put us down in P18 currently. We're ahead of Joe Guan Yu and Lance Stroll, Teo Pourchaire, and I'm not sure who the other driver is. I'm probably going to assume that it's Nicholas Gotifi. It's definitely not Alex Albon because he's ahead of us, so it is probably Gotifi himself. But you can see now we're on the run now, down the back straight, and here we go then. This is a nice long straight. Thankfully, we have got an engine upgrade coming, but it's not for this Grand Prix. It is for the next Grand Prix at Silverstone. We really could have done with it this weekend, but we haven't got it. Is this so going to be enough to get to the line and get out of Q1? Even without the power, we've managed to get out of Q1 for the first time in our My Team season. We've got into P12, so that's into Q2, and now into Q2. This is where I was really feeling that extra power that we're going to get for the next race in Silverstone, we really could have done with in this qualifying session. You can see this is our one and only run in Q2. I didn't actually do a run first time around. The reason I didn't bother doing a run was I was like, well, I might need the soft compound tyres, or I might want to do some extra running in Q3. So we're going to try and save a set of soft tyres just in case I do manage to somehow get this car into Q3. You can see we're at purple in Sector 1. We were flying in Sector 1 this weekend. We were really strong there. And you can see now we're on the run to the hairpin. Lewis Hamilton sets a 1:10.7. We're currently 1/10 under Fernando Alonso's lap time. Alonso with a 43.0, so we're currently on track to do a 111.5 if we can match Alonso in Sector 3. And if we can do that, that might be enough to just see us into qualifying 3. We've got the DRS. We're using all the ERS into the final. Wall of Champions chicane we go. We stay well clear of the Wall of Champions. Shortest run to the line by cutting it to the inside. Is it enough for Q3?
Hello and welcome to the Ile Notre Dame once again for what promises to be another incredible Canadian Grand Prix at this fiercely competitive circuit, where pole position can often be decided by less than a tenth of a second. We'll be seeing top speeds of around 210 miles per hour here at the circuit Gilles Villeneuve, with around 2/3 of the lap taken at full throttle. High-speed chicanes spell potential danger, especially the infamous Wall of Champions, and watch out for overtaking into the hairpin at that final chicane. It's time to take a look at our starting grid for today's race. A fantastic effort from Charles Leclerc yesterday, and it's put him on pole, edging out Max Verstappen, who'll start from P2. As we continue through the rest of the grid today, we have Hamilton, Perez, Lando Norris, and Bottas. Mick Schumacher, Ocon, Russell, they've taken a grid penalty, and Fernando Alonso. Bennett, Sainz, Kevin Magnussen, and Tsunoda. Gasly, Ricciardo, Sebastian Vettel, and Lance Stroll. Latifi, Théo Pourchaire, Joe, they'll be starting further back after an earlier grid penalty, and Alex Albon picks up the last spot on the grid. That's it then, it's time to go racing as we head down trackside for today's race.
So, it's P11 then for this Canadian Grand Prix. We actually qualified in P12, however, Carlos Sainz has a grid penalty. So yeah, we're starting in P11. It's by far our best qualifying result this season, and I think it is one that we're going to be looking to try and take full advantage of. I think there is a good opportunity for points here. We've of course scored points in Monaco, but we really did look into the points there due to the safety car coming out when it did. This weekend, though, I think we've got a good chance at some points just on pace alone. So we're going to do the mediums to hards and just do that. The standard strategy that everyone else is going to do. Mediums to hards. It's the easy strategy. It's the one that makes the most sense. So let's do it. Except we're on softs. I didn't realise this at the time, but I didn't realise this, that for some reason, we actually had the bottom one selected. We've normally, of course, got the mediums to hard selected, but for some reason, the team decided they wanted to put me on a 2-stop, and I didn't understand why. So it looks like we're actually going to be starting this Grand Prix on the softs, despite wanting to start on the mediums. But that's fine, we're just going to have to live with it. The team's screwed over the strategy. We're going to have to make up for it in the race. It's lights out and away we go for the Canadian Grand Prix. It's a good start there. Alonso also got a good start. He's going to go around the outside of George Russell. We're going to go down the inside. It turns to the outside for turn 2. Through past George Russell and Fernando Alonso we go. Up to P9. Are we going to be able to get Esteban Ocon and get up to P8? We're going to have to dive it down the inside into the right-hander. Yes, we do. Down the inside. Past Esteban Ocon and now to P8. Next up is going to be Mick Schumacher in the Haas. If we can get Mick, that'll be really, really impressive, because these Haas cars are very, very fast, especially in a straight line. They are absolute rocket ships, as are the Alfa Romeos. Us, on the other hand, we're very slow in the straight line. We still have the weakest engine of anyone in the grid, so we still have the weakest engine in Formula 1, and we have a very draggy car, so we are struggling for straight line speed, which is going to make Sector 3 here very, very tricky. This is why in qualifying we actually lost a whole heap of time versus Fernando Alonso. I think we lost something like 2 or 3 tenths in this straight line alone, which, I mean, after the Baku race, it's to be expected, because in Baku we were getting overtaken left, right and centre. Like I said, if you haven't seen that race, go check it out. It was an absolutely insane race. But back to this race, we end lap 1. We're currently 8 tenths of a second behind Mick Schumacher as go all the way to lap 8, because not much had really happened in that phase of the race. Carlos Sainz had got past Fernando Alonso, and really that was about it. Alonso falling back pretty quickly, 1.8 seconds behind me. And you can see here's Carlos Sainz going to be looking for a move around the outside into the hairpin. I didn't actually want to do what I just did. I actually locked up. I wanted to give him space, but I locked up and went straight on and kind of pushed Sainz wide. But Sainz now is going to get the DRS. And, well, it's Ferrari power, which is by far the fastest car on the grid, versus Pulse Motorsport, which is the slowest car on the grid. It's no contest. Carlos Sainz blasts past us to take P8, and I kind of let him go with that one. Didn't see any need to really fight Carlos Sainz, because, yeah, he's just so much faster than us. But then we go to the end of lap 9, and into the pits we go. So this is going to be our one and only stop. We're going to go from the soft tyres all the way to the hard tyres, and hopefully that should take us until the end of this Grand Prix. So off go the soft tyres, on go the hard tyres. It's a 2.4 second stop. So the boys at Pulse Motorsport, they're rapid. They did a very good stop there. That's the 2.4. Is it going to see us out ahead of Porsche and Latifi? It's very important we get past both of them. And we're behind both of them. Yeah, that's not great. I actually wanted to be ahead of both Latifi and Théo Pourchaire, but actually we've ended up behind the pair of them, which is not ideal. But we go now to lap 11. The hard compound tyres are just starting to get up to temperature now. Now they get into a condition where I can actually really start to use them. And you can see here we go into the hairpin. We're closing up on Nicholas Latifi, but there's a yellow flag and there's Zhou Guanyu. He spun, he's blocked the track. Zhou Guanyu spun, blocked the track right in front of us. Let's take a look at it from Zhou Guanyu's perspective. He just touched the curb on the exit of the hairpin, lit the tyres up, spun the car around, and my teammate Théo Pourchaire has hit Zhou Guanyu. So Théo Pourchaire has some wing damage. He then boxed at the next lap. We go to lap 13. Mick Schumacher is now out of the race. But yeah, Zhou Guanyu spinning there. That cost us a good 2 seconds, at least 2 seconds, as we go to lap 16 now. And here we are. Here's Kevin Magnussen, who was behind us, and look at that. Magnussen has come out ahead of us by 0.6 of a second. That spin by Zhou Guanyu has cost us track position against Kevin Magnussen. And that is very important because it's going to be very difficult to get past Magnussen. Because as I was saying, he's in the Haas. He's got that Ferrari power unit. He's an absolute rocket in a straight line versus us, who's still the slowest car in a straight line. So there's not really anything we can do except sit behind Kevin Magnussen and hope we can find a way past him as Sebastian Vettel comes into the pits. That sees us now up to P11. So we just need to get Magnussen and then we're in the points here in Montreal. But we can't do it. We're just behind him. And Daniel Ricciardo, that's our rival. Daniel Ricciardo, our rival, is out of the Canadian Grand Prix and the safety car has been deployed. The safety car has been deployed, and this is why Daniel Ricciardo on the Wall of Champions chicane has hit the Wall of Champions and then hit the inside wall. It's a huge incident for Ricciardo, and Ricciardo is out of the Canadian Grand Prix. And we decide we're going to take a risk in this Canadian Grand Prix. We're going to come into the pits and we're going to go from a set of hards to a set of medium compound tyres. And we're going to roll the dice in this Grand Prix. If you guys are enjoying this video, please do, of course, as always, hit that like button, drop a comment down below, and of course subscribe to the channel if you haven't already for more F1 content. We do crazy stuff like this. We change the strategy up. We don't just do the standard strategies all the time. So we change strategy up. We've come out just behind Sebastian Vettel, which is a little bit disappointing. I actually want to be ahead of Vettel, but Vettel just got us there on the exit as we go now to lap 20, and the Canadian Grand Prix is back underway. And it's a good restart there from Sebastian Vettel. We couldn't do much, but we were much later on the brakes there into turn 1. Tried to find a way past Sebastian Vettel, but yeah, we were never making it from that far back. We were way too far back from Vettel. All we can hope to do now is stick with Vettel. He's on those hard tyres. We've got the medium tyres, so we've got a much higher grip advantage. But we're not going to wait for it. We're going to go straight down the inside on Sebastian Vettel. We got Vettel. We're up to P12, but we have a huge mistake. We just lose the back end with a huge, silly error. Much oversteer there on the exit. and Vettel gets back past us, back up to P12. We're back down to P13. We need to get past Vettel as quickly as possible before he gets those hard tyres back up to full temperature. Into the hairpin we go, back down the inside on Sebastian Vettel and back through to P12 in this Canadian Grand Prix, and we've made it stick. So we've only really lost a position now to Fernando Alonso since before that safety car came out. So we've got to try and find a way past Fernando Alonso, and then once we've got him, we're really back where we were prior to the safety car. So it's not really that bad that we made that extra stop. But you can see now, we've got the slipstream, we've got the DRS, and we've got the ERS on Fernando Alonso. And we're going to look for a move down the inside into the wall of champion chicane. We look for it down the inside. It was bold, it was brave, and it was beautiful there to get past Fernando Alonso and up to P11 in this Canadian Grand Prix. Next up is Kevin Magnussen. But as I was saying earlier in this race, Kevin Magnussen is so fast in a straight line in that Haas car. There's not really that much we can do about Kevin Magnussen except stay with him and really hope he makes a mistake. So we're just going to stick with him. We're going to have to use as much ERS as we possibly can. We're better on the brakes, but look at this, in a straight line. We cannot live with these Haas cars. We need that major engine upgrade that's coming to the British Grand Prix. We really need it as soon as possible. We ideally needed it for this weekend, but it wasn't to be. And you can see there in the straight line, even with DRS, we can't do anything about Kevin Magnussen. But on the exit of the wall of champion chicane, we get a brilliant exit. And are we going to be able to look for a move down into turn 1? Yes, we do. Turn 1 down the inside of Kevin Magnussen. Can we make it stick? We give him space. But we've got Kevin Magnussen, and that's P10 here in Montreal. And that means we are in the points. But unlike in Monaco, we are in the points on pace alone. So thank God for that. We've actually got into the points on pace for the first time this season as Kevin Magnussen retires from the Canadian Grand Prix. His engine expired shortly after we passed him, so it wasn't due to damage by me hitting him, which is nice. It's nice that I didn't crash into him. It's nice to know that it was an engine failure. It wasn't down to us that Magnussen is out. But we go now to lap 31, and we're going to try and do the same, I think, to Esteban Ocon. We're setting him up here into the wall of champion chicane. We get a good exit from the chicane now with slipstream, DRS and ERS. We're going to look for a move down the inside into turn 1 on Esteban Ocon. Can we make it stick like we did on Magnussen? Yes, we can. And it was much more authoritative than it was with Magnussen. We were past him by the apex, whereas we were wheel to wheel with Magnussen. So that is us now up to P9 in this Canadian Grand Prix. Hit the like button for that, because that is a brilliant result for Pulse Motorsports. As we go to the end of this Grand Prix, Charles Leclerc wins the Canadian Grand Prix. It's another win for Ferrari. They are dominating this championship. And for us, it's our best result without causing a safety car ourselves. It's P9 in Montreal and 2 points for Pulse Motorsports.
Natalie Pinkham, how do you think they were able to set themselves apart today?
Well, tyre management probably played quite a large role in the outcome of this one. As ever, it's not just about speed, it's about maintaining that speed consistently over a stint, over a race distance. So, being able to keep up the lap times while still being smooth on the controls, gentle on the tyres, that's where the race was won today.
Here come our winners now, a thrilling race and a tremendous effort by Ferrari. Their history is well known, so it's no surprise to fans the world over to see them come out on top once again.
So it's yet another win for Charles Leclerc in what is becoming a very dominant championship campaign for the Ferrari driver. From Lewis Hamilton then in second place, Max Verstappen third, Norris fourth, Perez fifth, Sainz in sixth, Bottas seventh, Russell down in eighth. But we finish an excellent P9 for Pulse Motorsports, and Esteban Ocon rounds out the top 10. And in now to the Drivers' Championship, Charles Leclerc 47 points ahead of Max Verstappen. We move back up to P13 with 8 points. That puts us ahead of Mick Schumacher in the Drivers' Championship. But Charles Leclerc, like I said, running away with the championship, as are Ferrari in the Constructors. And we now are in 9th place with 8 points in the Constructors' Championship. So guys, I hope you enjoyed that video. It was a hectic race, but it was a brilliant race. So of course, as always, comment, leave a like, and if you haven't already, of course, subscribe to the channel for more F1 22 content. And as you can see, we've got the engine upgrade for the British Grand Prix. That is absolutely perfect. Thank you all so much for watching, guys. Bye.